What did you make of whatever happened in Tianjin? Prime Minister Modi showcasing that he is not at a loss when it comes to options. But then today you had that mega military parade as well. Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin, all those China-friendly nations out there, 32 of them, and mega military might on display. But then India gives the parade a miss. People are calling it a master stroke. How are you looking at those developments? Do you see that it's almost as if Washington has now realized that India is not going to get cornered anymore?
Thanks for having me, Kabir. I think from Prime Minister Modi's perspective, I think it was really smartly played. He attended the SCO summit. He had a trade reset with China. He deepened his relationships with China, with Russia, and then he returned. Skipping the military parade in Beijing, basically sending out a message to his Japanese counterparts that I am not going to be hurting our relationships at the cost of attending the Beijing military the military show. So this actually leaves a lot of space for negotiations with both Washington and Brussels, and it also demonstrates that India is not part of any certain bloc. There is no sense of anti-Americanism. There is no Sinocentrism within India's foreign diplomacy. It's that of multi-alignment, and somewhere or the other, I think the self-inflicted wound that President Trump has caused himself has opened a wider door to sort of multipolarity, and that is the consequence of his trade tariffs. All of these organization and groupings, which were basically on paper, have suddenly seemed activated. They may not have translated to direct actions as of now. I mean, even if you look at the SCO in general, yes, Prime Minister Modi and Xi have, reset trade ties. They're looking at more people to people
Yep.
connections.
Yep.
Direct flights are now going to be opening up. Border talks are going to be resuming. There's a whole panel
Yep.
going to be sitting down to review the border skirmishes, and hopefully close it out by 2027. So all of those are in the domain, but let us see how much of it is actually getting action on the ground. But at least it's a Kickstarter. At least President Trump's tariff tantrums have caused all of
Okay.
these ripple effects where it's brought all of these world leaders together to think about, okay, you know what, we have to talk about the US hegemony, and we need to talk about how do we actually mitigate that massive risk looming over our heads.